Happy Friday morning, everybody. Waiting for Brian to show up. Got some caffeine in my hand here. I am uploading a very kick-ass video, which you guys will see today. So stay tuned for that. I might even do like a premiere thing and jump on the chat with you guys and chat and talk about it and explain what I did and flight paths and stuff. But I'm kind of talking quiet. The wife's still sleeping. Like I said, waiting for Brian. It's still early. It's 7:51. I probably crawled out of bed at like 6:30. I couldn't sleep for whatever reason. Weird dreams last night. Really freaking trippy dreams. I don't know what the hell it was. I didn't eat anything really for dinner last night, so I can't blame it on the food. But I'll show you what I'm working on. Mr. Cinematic is always getting upgrades because this has become my favorite flyer. I am just in love with exploring the woods, shooting crazy gaps in the middle of nowhere, and it is fun. But it's a twofer, what I wanted to talk about. Threefer. I started messing with some ducks. I got some different, I don't know why they came this color green versus the highlighter green. So I may swap them again, who knows, but I did a green and a blue, and it kind of goes with the green LED that's on the bottom. And then I flip-flop this one to blue. Excuse me. But I have a different mount on here. Does anybody recognize the mount? Even though it's covered. It is a Hero 7, and how appropriate, because my lucky number is 7. Consider it I was born 7/17/1977, at 7 pounds, at 7 o'clock, and in Connecticut, which was the 7th state to enter the States. Yeah, there's a funny theme going there, and I have a GoPro 7. I was able to work out a killer deal. It was slightly used. Now it's going to be more used, but I'm going to be able to get some shots and smoother video with it than its little brother, the Session. I can't complain. What this thing does for its size is absolutely amazing. And if you use real steady with it, which I don't do, it's phenomenal. So I might use this just for hiking, side projects, B-roll. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might even sell it, part it, because I know they're getting harder to find. But with hyper smooth and being able to do like the hyperlapse, so when we're hiking in the woods, I can take the hyperlapse shots, which is super cool. I got a really cool mount for tatas here. It's humongous pink freaking thing. But I was messing around because that is like one of the best cameras on the market, but I am in love with the Insta360 Go and where it's going to be going, because it's going to continually be getting updates. I know they're talking about 60 frames a second, which to me is a huge game changer. I would love to be able to use that with a stable horizon. It makes something flying with this. It gives you that look that you're looking for. I'm going to find out how this is. I've done some sample flying around with it in the yard, which is not exciting, but it does a good job. I like how it shoots. I'm messing with some of the settings and learning how to lock the exposure so it doesn't blow out the sky, which I don't think you can do with that one. But I did a quick little mount. It just clamps on, and then I trimmed. See, it's got that little tooth that's in here, so I trimmed it so it meets, so it doesn't want to come undone. And then my famous little like Sherlock tape type stuff, I did a piece on the top of the bottom of the mount and then on here, so this thing, it ain't gonna come undone. Of course I put the camera away, and then it magnetizes into this, and it holds it super good. I'm gonna try it, close to the ground, and I'm gonna purposely crash it and just kind of touch the ground with it and see if it wants to pop out. And if some reason it does, I could probably just zip tie, as long as it's not in the shot. I had a neat idea. Actually, let me grab it. It is right here. So it seems like this thing, one of my only gripes with, and I don't know if Insta would ever even, hold on, I'm trying to do this with one hand. Insta ever were to watch this, my gripe with it is that it's kind of like the GoPro, where the, what do you call it, the white balance, it's constantly trying to adjust. So if you were to fly above this light, it would kind of darken, and then when you go into the dark, it would kind of brighten, and it overexposes the sun quite a bit on some things, where with the app, possibly, which would be cool, is if it was on, you can kind of hold it where you want and then lock the white balance or the exposure, so that way it wouldn't I'm going to experiment with basically an ND filter, because they have basically tint that you could have, or try to make a little cap, not focusing, on this and try to cover around this to try to darken it a little bit to stop from the overexposure. But I mean, that thing is in there. You'd have to take a pretty freaking hard crash. I mean, I have little foam pads and it's on foam, so it's got a lot of resistance. I can't move it. So it'd be cool. It'll have the props out of view. It's technically 2 mounts in one now, which is super cool. So I'll be able to fly. As you guys saw in the video that's coming up, I put the GoPro mount away, and I keep talking about it because I want this to be like a thing for people that want to be creative and to have an option where if you have more than one mount. I took this super cool, they call it like the jello free mount that I've had right from the beginning, and then I mounted it like that, so I was flying like this with it upside down, and then I had the Insta one on top, and it flew fantastic. The only crazy thing is that when you're flying, you got to remember that you've got 3 or so inches of extra GoPro hanging underneath the quad. So when I was skimming across the ground, I mean, I was literally like this across the water, which you'll see in the video coming up. It made it for some really cool shots. But yeah, it makes it freaking kind of hairy. Put that back in there. So, like I said, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with the session. I don't know if anybody's interested in it. I have a whole bunch of extra mounts and quad mounts and all these other things. I'd like to think I'd use it, but at the same time, I think walking around with this, I have all kinds of mounts and stuff. I'm waiting for the shell for it. That's one thing I didn't get with it. But you can clip it to my backpack, like I said, so I can do a hyperlapse when we're walking. I want to see how that would work if I put it on my chest and was able to get like stick cams or something. I'm going to experiment a lot with it. I love doing the hyperlapse mentality like I did at the beach, where you set it down and watch the sunset and it's automatically taking video or picture, and then you get to speed it up. So that will be cool. Like I said, Brian's on his way down. He should be here anytime. He's spending the entire weekend, including today, down here. I think if we're going to go back to Puddle Hollow and check out the sand pit spot. There's a couple other spots along that river. If you haven't checked him out or aren't familiar with Drone Tread on Me, go check him out, subscribe, tell him I sent you.